Imagine being the author of your own story, where every word you utter paints a vivid picture and every sentence you craft builds a bridge of understanding between the speaker and the audience. And that's the art of articulation. Now, you might have understood by the title that I am going to talk about the art of articulation and how it can help you become a confident speaker. All of this is coming from personal experience. The number of times I have went on stage to perform, to give speeches, to host sessions, and to give demonstrations in front of live audience, and audience can vary from 5, 10 to hundreds of people. Now, if you're new to my channel, let me introduce myself. My name is Vidita Kher and I usually make videos on English speaking tips and public speaking. So consider subscribing to my channel if you're interested in these two topics. Now in today's video, I am going to touch base on what is articulation, why is it needed, my ways in which I articulate my thoughts before I go on stage, and the benefits of articulating the thoughts in a correct way, how it can make you reach places. Let's get started. Now, articulation is not just about expressing ourselves or showing off our rich vocabulary, but it's more about connecting with others. It's about building the bridges of understanding between the speaker and the listener. It's about fostering meaningful connections between the two parties and eventually influencing the outcome of whether you are on stage giving a demo, you're addressing an audience, or you're trying to get that funding for your project for which you are giving an elevator pitch. In our personal lives, articulation helps us to express our feelings to our loved ones more meaningfully, and eventually it helps us to strengthen our bonds with them. Having said that, now let's talk about how to be more articulate. Of course, it's not an overnight journey. It's not that you read 10 books and you become articulate the next day. That doesn't happen in real life. It's a journey. Just like how fitness is a journey, you learn and grow each day of doing things. Similarly, it's the case here. When you want to become an effective public speaker, you have to practice each day and you have to take baby steps. Articulating your speech perfectly involves three major things. It's a combination of clear pronunciation, organizing your thoughts logically, and effective use of language. Let's talk about each of them with examples. Now, the first part that I talked about is clear pronunciation. How do you make sure that you are pronouncing the words correctly? Most often, whenever I learn or stumble upon a new word, I usually go online on Google, type the word and type the word pronunciation after it and look for the pronunciation. Usually you have the option to fast pace it or slowly listen to it so that you learn how to pronounce it. I know there are accents involved when pronunciation comes into picture. Usually there are British, American, Indian pronunciation. So I go for Indian pronunciation or British pronunciation. That is my way of learning how to pronounce new words. Second thing in pronunciation is slow down your pace. Now, most often if you are habitual of speaking fast, chances are you could slur some words and then audience will not understand or will not follow along what you're saying. So it's very important that you take a pause, listen to what you're saying. Most often the ways to do that is you record a small audio of what you're saying and then listen yourself as a audience member, thinking that this is the first time I'm hearing this voice. How does it sound? Is it too fast for you to grasp what did you say? Or is it too slow? And then tweak your speed accordingly. This helps a long way because you are your best friend when it comes to giving the honest feedback. Therefore, very important for you to listen it repeatedly and then make changes. Or if you want to seek help from your friend, definitely share that audio note with your friend and ask for feedback. And let's talk about organizing your thoughts logically. Imagine you are going on stage unprepared, or let's say underprepared, and you just keep on speaking whatever comes in your mind. Whatever thoughts we have here are always haphazard. They are not in in an order. So if you go on speaking what comes to your mind, chances are again audience will not follow along, or they might just get bored because nothing is registering for them here. So it's very important that you note down or you plan ahead of time what you're going to speak. For example, I have written my notes here in bullet points so that I know well ahead in time what I'm going to speak, how I'm going to address all these topics, and it gives me a clear sense of understanding what I'm speaking. Such way, I don't waste your time and I don't waste my time to think again and again what to speak. So it helps me whenever I write down what I have to speak, it kind of registers in my mind, and then I go with that pace because of a lot of practice with several years being on stage. Now, even if I write down 2 to 3 bullet points, I know how to expand them. Alright, now the next thing which comes into picture when you are speaking or you're organizing your thoughts is use of simple language. Yes, it's very important that you get an idea about your target audience and then tweak your language. When I say language, tweak your words, your vocabulary according to the audience. For example, you can't just go on and use some abbreviations to a millennial or an older audience which are more known or suited for Gen Z audience. So try to always expand words, or if you're catering a Gen Z audience, then you can definitely go ahead and use the slangs or the phrases which are more suitable or they can understand them well. For example, FOMO, YOLO, these are the words that you can use for Gen Z audience. The simpler and more direct your language, the easier is it for the audience to understand your message. Next thing that comes in organizing your thoughts is my personal favorite that I always do is think in three-part structure. Now, what does this three-part structure means? Whenever I go on stage and if I have to speak on a topic, I usually think in three parts. First is the introduction. How will I introduce this topic of articulation? What are the opening lines for me? Secondly, what should be the body of your message or the crux that you want to speak? I want to highlight the importance of articulation, the ways in which I can achieve it, and its benefits. So these three pointers forms my body. And then comes the conclusion. Whatever you're speaking on stage, you make sure that you summarize it, because if you're not summarizing it, chances are they may or may not have a better takeaway from your session. So make sure you summarize the main points in conclusion. So this is the three-part structure that I always use: introduction, body, conclusion. Now this brings me to the third part of articulation, that is effective use of language. When I say language, it means the words that you write and also the body language, which involves how effectively you're using the stage area, your facial expressions, and your hand gestures. Because it's not just about the idea that you are conveying, it's also about the emotions that you associate with it. When you are on stage, your body language is speaking for itself. For example, the more you smile, the more you show positive energy, it resonates with the audience members or the judges who are evaluating you on stage. Effective use of body language is the right amount of icing on the cake that makes the cake attractive. It makes us want to go and eat more, enjoy more. Therefore, make sure that your body language is in coherence with your message and you're able to deliver 100% of your message effectively with both your words and your body language. Another important pillar of body language is active listening. Yes, when you are on stage, you have to actively listen to the audience's response, their body language, their non-verbal cues, or if sometimes someone is asking you a question, pause and listen to the question. The more you listen to the question, the better you will be able to respond to them, and that way you form a bond with your audience. It's not just about one way traffic where you are just bombarding your audience with the information, it's also about receiving from the other end. Now, picture this: if you are not able to articulate your thoughts well, what all can go wrong? At your workplace, you can miss opportunities that can come your way. In a project, if you are trying to solve a problem or make a decision, but you're not able to tell what you think could be the right solution, it could lead to delayed problem solving or delayed decision making. If you're not able to articulate your thoughts well in your personal lives, it can lead to relationship strains, and nobody would want that. All the miscommunications happen when you're not able to articulate well. So far, after listening to me, you must have come to this conclusion that articulation is not just a skill but is a powerful tool that can help you win over your friends, your relationships, and also influence the outcome of a very important decision at your workplace. You can win negotiations, you can win funds to your projects if you're able to effectively articulate your thoughts. In addition to that, if you learn how to add pauses in the right place when you're speaking on stage, it will take your speech to the next level. And to help you with that, I have another video where I talk about the power of pausing, so do check it out. To summarize, I'd like to quote a famous quote by George Bernard Shaw, and it goes: the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place, and articulation is the solution to this problem. Share it with your friends who would want to learn the art of articulation. Bye.